We woke up on the saddest news ever that our beloved Kagame has died in Germany. How do you feel?
He can go to hell, and we are going to party and celebrate tonight.
So many of you might have seen me on an interview that I did with Pemo last week. It was really explosive. And there was a number of controversial issues that we spoke about there. And some of them have gone viral. But some of them have begun to explode and cause problems between governments. So one of these is the issue of Paul Kagame. I spoke about Paul Kagame. I said Paul Kagame is a threat to Africa, and Africans must not trust him because he's trained by the Americans at Fort Leavenworth to be a mercenary of the Americans, and he has stolen the hearts of African leaders and African citizens to love him, yet he is undertaking the dirty work of the West, like what he's doing in Congo, where he keeps invading for Congo to be looted for its resources. I also spoke about the fact that he came into power by starting the Rwandan genocide and getting his own soldiers, the RFP fighters, to murder Rwandese so that he could then come in like Superman and act like he's defending the people of Rwanda until he got into power. The reason he did that is that if he had gone for an election against Habyarimana, who he murdered, he would have never won. He would have lost, and so that's why he took power by force. And since he has taken power by force, anybody who opposes him, he kills. And so this is why they're concerned and worried about what it is that I've said, because they've been using British PR agencies to manage the image of this very vile man that has killed over 7 million people. He's killed more people than Hitler on the African continent. And our leaders smile and laugh with this man, and yet he's killing Africans. He has caused a genocide that is bigger than what it is that Hitler has caused. There's no reason why we should be tolerant of this man. So what he has done is he sent some of his agents to Zimbabwe to look for one of the media houses and to write an article denigrating what I have done and seemingly saying that I'm a government official of Zimbabwe and I'm ruining the relationship between Rwanda and Zimbabwe. I'm not a government official for Zimbabwe. I'm not a ZANU-PF member. I'm a citizen of Zimbabwe who's protected by the Constitution of Zimbabwe, free speech, free expression, and that is what I've been expressing. And I believe that we've got a tyrant on the African continent, a tyrant who sends people even to South Africa to murder his secret agents in that country. He murdered Karigea in the Michelangelo Towers. He sent his forces into Mozambique. They murdered Revocate Karimangingo, who was one of the Hutu activists that were very vocal against him. And they've been murdering people all across the continent and across the world. Why should we tolerate this? Why should we tolerate this CIA type of behavior in Africa for him to advance Western interest on the African continent? So I wanted to say to you, we need to start watching this man. He is a Tutsi. Tutsis are a minority in Rwanda. 15% of the population, but they control more than 95% of government positions and military positions. Why? That is apartheid, and we need to end that apartheid in Africa.
And my message to Kagame, what I'm saying is, I'm the one who's going to come and take Kagame out where he is. That is what I'm saying. From today, you will see me, Kagame. I'm not stupid.
To Paul Kagame, you say, Paul Kagame, please leave us alone. Leave us alone. Leave Congolese people alone. It's not us to say we must be a president for Rwanda. Your country is very small. Look, why we demand of people for America? If they want to buy the mineral in our country, they must come in the big door. Why they want to pass by the window? Why? They must come. They sit down with our president. We need your things. They must sign, but not to come and kill our people. We are very disappointed. We are saying, Kagame, leave us alone. Leave us alone, leave Congolese people alone. Vive DRC, vive Congo.
Rwandese people, they must understand that they are doing that. They are killing fellow African people because of their interests. They know people who are beyond them. They can't fight Congo. They can't fight Congo. Even if we don't have arms, just by going there in Rwanda by stick, we can finish all of them.
The killing of Congolese in Congo, in the east of Congo, we are worried about that. And we are not about that. We are not happy about that. The killing of South African soldiers who left their countries and go and help us in Congo in order to put peace. We are not happy with that, Mr. Kagame. So what we are calling for African leaders is to help us resolve this problem by putting us together, by putting the President Tshisekedi and the President Kagame together, by dialogue. Because we cannot fight. We are African. We are one.
Until when you kill our population? Because we will not surrender. We will not give up. We will continue to fight. This morning I heard from the news, they say M23 wants a ceasefire. We say not to ceasefire. They must go out. They must plead the baggage and leave the country. Then we will say the peace. If there's a problem between the Congolese, we sit around the table, we'll discuss. We don't want aggression from outside to come and they loot our mineral and take our land.
We have been killed in Congo because of the minerals that we have there. And Union European and other countries, they are busy supporting what Rwanda and Paul Kagame is doing in Congo. This is not fair. So we want peace in Congo. We want peace in Africa. That is the reason why we are here.
We know that many nations are behind them. They are supporting them with a weapon. And then they're banning us to not buy weapons because they know if we buy weapons, we're going to do worse than what they're doing. So that's the reason why we want to let them know that the war must stop and we need peace in the east of Congo.
Kagame is actually one of Africa's biggest problems because Congo is the biggest dissettlement of Africa that causes Africa never to unite. And Kagame is the reason why we've got the Congolese struggle.
The DRC, my basic understanding is that it's the wealthiest country
in Africa,
on the continent from a mineral perspective.
In the world, yeah.
It's the wealthiest country in the world from a natural resources perspective.
100%.
And you're saying Paul Kagame has a part to play in that?
Yeah, people don't understand that we always hear about the Rwandan genocide. The Rwandan genocide was started by Paul Kagame. And he started the Rwandan genocide because he wanted to take power by force in a country that would have never elected him into power because he came from the minority Tutsis who used to be supported by the colonizer and used to be the administrators on behalf of the colonizer. So for Paul Kagame to come back as a Tutsi to come and take power in Rwanda, he needed to do something. And what he did is he started the genocide. He started the genocide by bringing down a plane that had two presidents, Hutu presidents, the Burundian president and the Rwandan president. Paul Kagame and his RFP forces shot down the plane when it was landing back in Rwanda from actually an AU meeting. And when that plane came down, then it inflamed the Hutu people who knew that they were RFP fighters who were trying to take power by force. And so they began to fight against Tutsi people who they felt wanted to come and take over power. While they were doing that, Paul Kagame himself sent his forces to murder his own Tutsi people on a whole-scale level to make it look like a genocide so that he could then have his forces come into Rwanda and take over power militarily under the guise of stopping a genocide against Tutsis.
These are all things that are factual.
Well documented.
Jeez.
It is actually something that the International Court of Justice wanted to persecute him for. And then the Americans covered up for him and the French covered up for him so that it wouldn't come out. But Paul Kagame came into power by murdering his own people. Then when he did that, he then took Laurent Kabila, who was now living in Rwanda, to go and take over power from Mobutu Sese Seko.
These are the leaders in the DRC.
This was in the DRC. And the arrangement that he had with Mobutu is once you're in power, you need to bring some of my own people into your system. And the reason why he wanted to bring his own people into the system is that the Tutsis see themselves as a superior people to Bantus. And so they want to reinstitute something called the Mapororo Tutsi Empire that is going to rule over Central Africa and the Great Lakes. Because if you look where they came from in Uganda, Museveni is Tutsi. And he is the one who trained together with people like Paul Kagame in Tanzania together with our liberation fighters. And when they came from those liberation camps, then Museveni went and took power from Obote, and then he put people like Kagame and the Hutus and the Tutsis into his army and intelligence. They then started murdering non-Tutsis who wanted power in Uganda because they were majorities. And that's how Museveni becomes the president of Uganda as a Tutsi, and then he begins to assist Kagame together with the Europeans, the Americans, to then create a force that is going to take power in Rwanda. And then they must take power in Rwanda, instill a Tutsi in Burundi, and instill a Tutsi in Congo. So when they then succeeded in getting what do you call him? Kabila into power, Kabila refused to put Tutsis into his government. And when he refused, then Kagame and Museveni then sent their armies and rebels into Congo with an intention to remove Kabila. Kabila then ran to SADC. And that time SADC had an organ, or the military institution was called the organ, which was being headed by Mugabe. And he said, listen, they want to overthrow me. And he gave them the reasons why they want to overthrow. Mugabe sent a fact-finding mission that it consisted of Zambians, Namibians, Angolans, South Africans, and everybody from SADC region. And he realized that this was actually a problem. So they went to Uganda, they went to Rwanda, they couldn't find Museveni when they went to Uganda, they couldn't find Kagame when they went to Rwanda, but they got information that there was going to be an overthrow of Kabila, and then the UN was going to be forced to actually come up with a policy that says Congo must be broken down into 5 countries.
Jeez.
The 5 countries would then be easier to loot for the West through Uganda, Rwanda, and their own people that they would have placed within the Congolese system. Then Zambia and Zimbabwe came up with a counter proposal, but they also sent the armies of the Namibians and the Angolans to go and stop Kagame from overthrowing Kabila. They were able to repel Kagame and Museveni's troops.